it's too late. We're partners. So that means we're all in this thing now.
Hey, Landon, how you doing? It's Terrell Royce with Big Go About Media. How you doing today?
Doing well, doing very well. How about you?
Oh man, it's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure. It's been a pretty good day. Had the opportunity to watch the new Kaiju number 8. I guess what we call it, the director's cut movie
Oh yeah,
of the first season. And then of course the additional. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Is it Hoshina?
Hoshina, yes,
Hoshina's day off.
yes.
Um, First off, how you feeling about this so far? How you taking it all in?
Oh man, I mean, it's still kind of surreal, frankly. I'm a big proponent of the theatrical experience. I love watching movies in theaters. In LA, I always go to the New Bev, where the
Yeah.
Tarantino owned theater. Here in Capel, Texas, I go to the Texas Theater, which has a lot of revival screenings. And so, yeah, the opportunity to watch my work and the work of my peers, my friends, up on the big screen, it's just, it's a magical opportunity, and I really can't wait.
Yeah, it's tough because like of course growing up, I feel like once Pokemon the movie came out, I felt
Mhm.
like there was like a decline of like anime in the movie theater. And then I guess when like One Piece and like when they started and Dragon Ball started coming out with those theatrical releases, there's been a lot more demand over the years for more theatrical movies.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think the like why they've been pushing this particular style of anime movie where it's like a recap of the season and here's some content, so you don't feel like you wasted your time. Why do you think we're starting to do more of that?
Well, I think with Kaiju specifically, I think because of the scale of the show and just the sheer style of it, it really lends itself well to the big screen because, you may have seen some of this material before, but you haven't seen it, on a giant screen, with a world-class sound system, and that can make a big, big difference, especially something like, Hoshina's big battle with Kaiju number 10,
Yeah, yeah.
which was, obviously so much fun to record. Uh, but I really, though, seeing it in theaters, it'll be like seeing it again for the first time, frankly. So that's going to be awesome. And of course, yeah, we do also have the Hoshina's Day Off, the special, which is never before seen. In fact, even for manga readers, I don't believe this story's been told before, so it'll be new to all of us.
No, and like you said, this is a completely original story that
Yeah,
provides some a little bit of backstory of a character that's been slightly kind of vague. I mean, we really haven't had time to address it in the
hmm
main series so far because it's been
yeah,
crisis after crisis. But
one
when
battle after
Hoshina,
another. Yeah,
yeah, when Hoshina comes into play, I mean, he is no joke. I mean, he's the vice captain for a reason. Obviously, you do your homework, you do your you read the manga, you get your show notes. How were you feeling about like particularly having to get to play this character in Kaiju number 8 so far?
he has been so much fun. And a big part of that is his duality, because he can go from being kind of this like, sly, kind of goofy character to being,
Yeah,
on the battlefield though, he's all business and, super
serious.
deadly
Yeah.
with his two little swords. Yeah. And so it's been really fun to kind of play those two sides of him. Um, and now this is a fun chance to get to see what he's like off the clock because in the show so far, he's always been at work, either slaying kaiju or working out or trolling his his fellow officers. So yeah, this would be fun to see kind of what he's like, when he's not at work, not on the clock, and doing his own thing.
Absolutely. Now, like I said, I mean, like I said, all the talk has been obviously like solo leveling. Like that's been the topic of conversation, and we just had that reawakening movie, like I just said before, and that introduced two episodes before the show started.
Yeah.
Um, and it seems like I said, this seems to be like for free like for comic books, they have like dollar comics where it introduces you to new readers, and these movies feel like that's what that is for people that feel a little bit more casual to the anime scene. Like, hey, this is out. Let me go check it out, see what it is, and then maybe
Yeah.
I'll jump into the main series and see where we're at. Do you feel like you're grabbing new people that don't normally would not touch anime, particularly a kaiju style anime, with this movie?
Yeah, I should emphasize that. Yeah, even if you're not familiar with the show, because this is, an omnibus, you can go in knowing next to nothing and still, really get a lot out of it. And by the end, you'll be kind of, pumped and prepped for season 2, which arrives later this year. So yeah, if your friend is trying to get you to go and you haven't gotten to see season 1 yet, go ahead and go. You'll still get the experience. You'll still want to go back and watch, so you have you have all the context, but this will be a good primer. Kind of like I guess you would say like an open book test almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the last time I had an open book test. Like everything requires me to have everything beforehand. Um, talk about in terms of like the recording for this.
Mhm.
Obviously, you had to record completely new content. Were you able to record in the studio with your fellow voice actors here, or was this at home in the closet?
This was actually here at Crunchyroll.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is though, with voice acting, I remember when I first went into this, I had kind of this rosy romantic view of like, oh, it's going to be all of us in the same room in like a little semicircle, doing our thing. But no, we almost always record individually. It's us in one room, and then the director and the engineer in the control room, sometimes a producer. But that's usually how it goes. What's nice though is sometimes our friends have already gone in and recorded ahead of us, and so we'll hear their voices in our headphones. If not though, thankfully we also have the Japanese there as a guide.
Who was your voice director for this movie?
Sean Gann, who one of my very favorite directors out here. We've worked together on stuff like Buddy Daddies and Requiem of the Rose King, which was a Shakespeare adaptation. Yeah, he's wonderful. Oh, and I'm not in the show, but he also does the Apothecary Diaries, which I know has really taken off.
And shout out to Buddy Daddies, very
Mhm.
slept on. I feel like that's not talked about enough. It's a good show, and definitely brought out a few tears
Absolutely,
a
yeah.
couple of times. We need to talk about that more.
I'm biased, but yeah, that Ferris wheel episode, episode 10 ripped my heart out. Oh man, it's so
Man,
good though. Yeah.
man. I think you were just talking about, like you say, working with the director. Do you? I mean, obviously, there's no favorites here. You get the job done.
Oh, of
But
course.
do you feel like working with certain directors, like the experience is a little bit smoother for you, or like you're able to just jump right in, like you get you get the direction and you just be able to hit it out the park like day one. You don't have to do multiple takes or what?
Yeah, especially with someone like Sean, who we've worked together, for years now, and so we've kind of developed a shorthand. We usually are on the same page. It's really usually a very easy process, and that also speaks though to how good Sean is, because he does his research, he knows this stuff backwards and forwards before we even begin, and so you always feel very supported by him. Um, and he also really does a great job, I think, of providing you emotional context and kind of showing you the path forward without forcing your hand too much. He's always open, to different ideas and different takes, and that's really, kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's like I said, I talked to so many people. Like it's as far as like it seems like the director is like so. I mean, obviously your natural talent to being able to pick this up, but the director is just so key to how the overall experience of these things go. And it's always good to hear like, man, you got somebody that's just you just feel right at home with. You can be able to just knock this out.
Absolutely. I feel the same way about like Mike McFarland on Chainsaw Man, and Metallic Rouge. I mean, he's so much fun to work with. Caitlin Glass, who obviously is killing it right now with solo leveling. We worked together on Black Butler last year, and that was just amazing because she is so good with accent work. And my character had two different accents he had to do, so it was really fun. But no, Sean is one of the very best though at what he does, and working on him or working with him on Kaiju has been just a dream so far.
So jumping in, obviously, kaiju. I mean, it's getting the popularity,
Yeah.
and I hate to be the guy that says, I was reading that before it became popular, because you just have a sense, like, because I read, the Shonen Jump weekly,
Mhm.
and you just have a sense, like, right off the break, like, what's going to be popular. And me being like a big Godzilla fan, a Tokusatsu fan, Super Sentai, I already had a feeling like Kaiju #8 was gonna be that one. I wish
Mhm.
they would pick up the chapters a little bit faster, but it's been solid so far. How is like have you had the chance to kind of embrace like the popularity of this particular show yet? I know it's still new. Anybody come up to you yet and just kind of fan out or like really express that they love your character?
It has been so much fun because from the get-go, I mean, from the time that episode one premiered on Saturday, Caitlin Barr and I were at a con in Milwaukee, I think. Um, and or it was somewhere around the Milwaukee area. But we were there when the first episode dropped, and we had cosplayers that first day. It was
Oh
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, so right off the bat, it's really been embraced, and we're so darn grateful for that. Um, I feel bad because we missed the watch party. The cast and crew got together and had a watch party, but we zoomed in though, so it was the next best thing.
Hey, look, as long as you're together, right?
Absolutely.
How is the state of everything just changed? I mean, like we've got so many, you know, anime is quote unquote like just the coolest thing at the top of the list now, where so many people like that normally wouldn't have supported it. You know, we got Megan Thee Stallion watching anime,
Yeah.
giving it a lot of she's worked with you guys, and it's touching a new demographic that it has never touched before. How is everything, just like I said, just been so far, just taking everything in?
Well, I mean, anime's gone mainstream. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. I remember, I can't speak to Crunchy, obviously, but with Bang Zoom, or not Bang Zoom, with Barnes and Noble. I remember growing up in Barnes and Noble, going to that store and seeing like all the superhero comics. There was
Yeah.
a huge wall of them, and manga was kind of this little niche, market. Now it's almost flipped. I mean, Batman, Spider-Man, those are always
Yeah.
going to be huge, but the manga, that's what has the volume. That's what has, shelf after shelf, wall, a whole wall of the stuff.
Yeah.
So that is amazing. In the last couple of years, it's really exploded, and it's gone from kind of a fun little niche market to being the new mainstream, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I just remember just growing up, and it's like, almost had to almost kind of hide it a little bit. Is nobody, everybody was watching Dragon Ball, right? Like everybody, found their ways to watch. Everybody was talking about it. That was the conversation. You brought your pictures, and now every streaming service I go to now is anime on there. I
Yeah.
feel like I had to meet a guy in the alley just to get a tape of some anime.
Oh,
Now
you're
it's
talking about
just
the Suncoast video days. Oh boy.
right. Like
Yeah.
it was like $60 for 3 episodes, and here we are. Like, and I always like talk to the younger generation like under me, like you just don't know how good you got it.
No, no, no.
You could just turn
They
this
don't
on and
understand.
watch an entire series in a day. I had
Mhm.
to wait week after week, and like I said, the industry has changed so much,
Mhm.
and provided so many different opportunities to and so many different things. Have you had a chance to get any of your merch yet, like for your character?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, well, when it comes to fan art, Kikuru's voice actress, Abigail, she does a great job of tagging me in things, so I always see a lot of fun stuff. And merch wise, yeah, I'm running out of wall space to be honest, and shelf space. But for Hoshina though, I will always make an exception because yeah, his merch is so cool. Yeah, lots of plushes, lots of statues.
Yeah.
It's been really really fun so far. And what's cool is you'll see different figures show different sides of him. Sometimes it's the very kind of, cute, sly, funny, goofy side, and other times it's the oh, he's coming to kill you, that version. So
Yeah. I
but it's
can't
been
wait
fun
for
to
the
see for
figure
sure.
art to drop, like with the
Oh
different
yeah.
faces. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Ending on this last question. I know we can't really talk too much like as far as the new content or spoilers for that,
Sure.
but what are you expecting, or what do you want to tell to the fans to expect from going into this movie, what they're going to be able to get out of this?
You can revisit, re-experience your favorite moments from season one, but on the big screen, with in the true theatrical experience. But also though, yeah, some new material, some very funny new material with Hoshina's Day Off. And yeah, and you get it all. There's no waiting; it's instant gratification. You're there, and you get to see kind of it's all. Uh, it's they get to the heat of the meat, I guess, right away, because it's a highlight reel essentially. It's,
Right.
all of our favorite moments from season one, you can relive all that and then the new material as well. So yeah, it should be a really fun primer for fans and newcomers alike. And it's also going to be a great kind of it's prep work also for season two. So once you've seen that, you'll be hopefully, raring to go for what's next.
Well, look, Landon, I appreciate you. This new movie drops what, April 13th in North America. Everybody's gonna be able to get that. I know it's gonna have like a 3 window date that's gonna be available to watch on the big screen. And I encourage anybody that if you get a chance, Landon's endorsement, go check it out. It's definitely worth the watch, and you get, like I said, a whole new story that has not been in the manga or anime so far. So
Yes.
definitely,
Yep. The
Landon,
13th, 14th, and the 16th.
13, 14, 16. Yep.
Yes. Skip tax day. We don't do tax day.
So Landon, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate you for doing this interview with me today. Your Hoshin is awesome, and I hope to get more of you in season 2.
Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.